Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Bladesinger Wizard modded build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. So this has been added to the in-game mod manager, and it's a really cool subclass because it is able to attack 2 times with the extra attack, and it can interchange its attacks with cantrips, giving you lots of flexibility in combat. It's not as busted as an Abjuration Wizard, so it's not like an OP build, but I'll be going over the full guide in this video. So if you have the 5e spells mod, you get a bunch of extra choice here. So it really depends. There is an in-game 5e spell, so I would take Green Flame Blade for sure. I have 2 different 5e spells here. But if you don't have that, I would recommend going with like Ray of Frost, maybe Minor Illusion, and Shocking Grasp or Bone Chill. But since I have the 5e spells, I'm going to add in a few different ones like Sword Burst, our Green Flame Blade, just for overall theming, and Boom Blade, so 3 of these here. In addition, we got our spell choices, so I'd recommend going with Thunderwave, Shield. So Shield's nice because it can give your armor class +5. Thunderwave's nice for the pushback to knock creatures off of ledges. If you have 5e spells, Absorbed Elements is really great. Frost Fingers as well. You can go with Magic Missile, which is a classic spell to take. And then also, really whatever you prefer for your other spells. Burning Hands can be a nice one to give Air of Effects spell. Find Familiar too is really nice, and then you could even go with like Long Strider because you're gonna be moving around a bit more with this class. So pick one of those that you prefer. Even like Burning Hands is pretty nice. And then for our ability scores, we're gonna go with 16 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 16 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, 10 Charisma. I find that amount works pretty well for us. I'll be going over gear options near the end of this video, as well as what we're gonna want to do for overall combat. So for the subclass, we're going to go with the Bladesinger here, which gives us the Blade Song. Gain a bonus to armor class and constitution saving throws equal to your armor or intelligence modifier. So this is really good. It uses a Bladesinger charge, lasts for 10 turns as a bonus action. You also get to pick 2 more spells, so Find Familiar, Grease can be a good one, or even Chromatic Orb. And then prepared spells will go with something like this here. So again, if you don't have the 5e spells mod, you can go with some other options. Really, this spell choice is your own choice. So at level 2, we get some fun ones like Rhymes Binding Ice, Agonizer's Scorcher, which is like a fire version of Lightning Bolt. So I like going with that for a bit of extra range. But Scorching Ray is a solid one, and Hold Person, so you can go with those too. And then we'll prepare our Rhymes Binding Ice. I like this because we can cast cantrips and we can attack in between. So lots of customization there for things like. We can go with our Bone Chill. I guess Bone Chill's not a part of it. Shocking Grasp for a nice stopping the target from having reactions. Even Toll the Dead can be nice too. So it's entirely your choice here. So for the spells at level 2, I will take our Hold Person and Scorching Ray there just for a little extra damage. And we're going to want to take our intelligence score up because this will just add to our armor class, which is really important for us. And then for our level 3 spells, I like Lightning Bolt a lot and Fireball. Counterspell being another great choice, but again, your own choice here. So we'll take that, and then we'll add in our Lightning Bolt there. So that's that for that level. And then level 6, we get some more options. We get our extra attack, giving us a big power spike, so we can now drop fireballs, or we can attack. Lots of freedom there. And we also have the spell Combat, so can replace 1 attack with a cantrip when using extra attack. Go ahead and stab and then use Shocking Grasp to stop him from using reactions and run away. There's a lot of choice there you can do. I like to take Counterspell again here. And then something else level 3 like Summon Shadow Spawn if you have the 5e spells mod. Mel's Minute Meteors is pretty fun too. A little bit less damage than the other options there, so you could go with something different, but I like our Counterspell. Fear is also not a bad spell. Some people underrate that. Find Greater Familiar, which is kind of a cool one if you got the 5e spells mod, so we'll take that and put on our Find Familiar there. Boom. That is pretty good. Now, we want to get our intelligence up as quick as possible, but Alert can be the feat we take at next level. We're going to take Conjure Minor Elemental. That's huge. Animate Dead can be fun, too. Ice Storm to create ice surfaces, which forces people to go prone. So that's also pretty fun. We'll go with that, and then we'll take Minor Elemental. So, next level here, level 8. Is when we get our next feat. I recommend Alert can be good, but I think Intelligence is much more important for us. We can also take Misty Step since we're going to be going around a little bit more on foot, and Wall of Fire is nice for crowd control, so you can take that. I don't like Misty Step. And then for our feat, we're going to go, I think Intelligence is a little bit more important, but Alert is also really nice. And then for our next level, I think that Hold Monster and Conjure Elemental being the best choices for spells here, so we'll go with that and choose those. At level 10, we get a nice buff as well from the subclass with our Song of Defense. Whenever you take damage, you may use your reaction and expend a spell slot to reduce the damage by 5 times the spell's level. So if you're going to take use a level 4 spell, that reduces damage by 20, so you become pretty tanky at this point. And we can also take ourselves something like, I guess, Bone Chill there I didn't previously take. If you want to stop target from getting heals. Danse Macabre, pretty fun if you have the 5e spells mod as well. And then also Cone of Cold is one of my favorite spells, so I always have Cone of Cold prepared. I think that's just a very useful one to have. At level 11, we get ourselves level 6 spells, so Wall of Ice or even Chain Lightning are my 2 choices for leveled spells here. And then Chain Lightning probably being the best of them. And then ourselves at level 12, we get to choose 2 more. Although you could take a level of Fighter. Taking the level of Fighter, start with Fighter, because that'll give you a Constitution saving throw proficiency. But even so, we can take like some different things like Circle of Death, Autolux Freezing Spear if we want, and then get a feat for Alert. However, if you don't want to go that route, you can just add in the Fighter, because it's going to give us fighting styles, weapon proficiencies, and then we can take the defense. So that gives us some decent defense as well. So yeah, what this is going to look like in combat is we got ourselves the ability to use a weapon. I like the Duelist Prerogative, and also for armor, I would recommend going with something like, since we have medium armor proficiency, we can go with like the Armor of Agility here, which is pretty decent, giving us 24 armor class. Not too shabby overall for just survivability's sake. I think that one works pretty well for us, so we'll go with that. And then for our gloves, I like the Helldesk gloves for +1 to spell attack and spell save DC, and additional 1 to 6 fire damage, which is the best in slot for this class. And then also for the amulet, I think the best thing is the Amulet of Greater Health, just for survivability. Takes us from 76 to 124. And then for our rings, I like to go with something like the Ring of Protection for +1 armor class, but also the Killer Sweetheart for the critical hit. But you can even go with a ring that's going to add to the Create Undead, the Crypt Lord ring. Cloak Protection, Boots Protection for +2 to armor class, and then Mask of Soul Perception, or you can go with the Hood of the Weave. So there's a couple choices that you can go with there. It's entirely your choice, but we're going to roll with that. So what this looks like in practice is we have things like Booming Blade, which lets us strike at a melee target, so we can go into our there, and we can attack. And then we also have the ability to just do another main hand attack too on top of that, so we can attack twice with our action. And then we also have the Wither and Cut there with 2 reactions, so that's kind of nice. So that's the biggest benefit, is we can use cantrips, so we can attack twice with cantrips like Booming Blade. Pretty good. Then we can even go with like our Green Flame Blade, depending on what type of damage that we want to do. We can move targets around, or we can deal extra fire damage, so we can go in with like something like that, and I guess follow up with our extra attack there. So pretty nice for extra damage, honestly. What this looks like in actual practice is I'll get out and do a real combat encounter. Typically we want to summon in summons because we got the ability to use them, so we may as well use them. So I like to summon in level 4 Ice Mephits, 2 of these, and then use your free cast to summon in an upcasted version of the Elemental for something like the Water Elemental. The nice thing about this is you can use this to apply wet, and then you can use Cone of Cold, and then it just completely deals a ton of damage. So highly recommend going that route. We'll get healing up here because I forgot to heal after using the, there we go, it's good enough. So I'll go out into the combat and show off what we can do with our elementals. And we also got our Fine Grader familiar too, so we can add in Cranium Rat, Oozling, Tressim, or Dog. Summon an Oozling just for something fun here. We got that as another summon. And then you can also summon in like a Raven for a little bit extra crowd control. And us if you got us. Like, the wizard really benefits from having a bunch of summons for extra tanking and aggro. So I'd recommend going with that if possible. But we're going to start a combat encounter right here. And booyah. We're getting into things. I'll just keep everyone else out of it. But we got our summons there, so I guess we can move interchangeably with our Water Myrmidon. What's nice with the Water Myrmidon is it can apply, you can use the Healing Vapors. And it won't apply healed to them in this area, but you also got the ability to do the Heimal Strike, which is really nice. High damage, unfortunately, can't hit there. And Explosive Icicle, which unfortunately we can't see. We can usually target someone and deal a ton of damage with this, but unfortunately our line of sight is broken right now, so we can't use that. But we got ourselves set up here so that we can do a little bit of damage, so we'll just start off with something light like a Chain Light or a Lightning Bolt here. And we took them out with that. It hit pretty hard. So typically what we want to be doing, I guess I can even use a second wind to heal ourselves here, so that's good. But what we're going to be doing typically with this is we're going to want to use Cone of Cold and Chain Lightning after we get our water set up from our Myrmidon there. It's extremely useful to have that around. So, and then we want to get our little Death Burst ice methods in as close as possible so that they can explode, deal extra damage, or drop a Chromatic Orb. They're going to run out and drop Darkness on us, so they're just going to dash out. We already removed one of them from the battlefield, so that's nice. But yeah, we'll just see them all dashing here. Typically, we want to be dealing double damage whenever possible. Okay, we got a big jump there, so that's even better, right up in our face. He's going to dash and hopefully do the same. But yeah, the nice thing about the Water Myrmidon is they can actually apply vulnerability to all damage, or lightning and cold damage pretty easily. So it also will heal us. Pretty nice effect. So we just go in here and go with the Healing Vapors, which they already have full health, so it doesn't really affect them. But now they have the wet application on them. So you can just end your turn. You can Elemental Warp away. Don't forget they have the Elemental Warp. So next, we can just go ahead with like another. We can go with another lightning bolt if we wanted to here, so we can hit both of them, or we can go with a chain lightning, which is nice to shoot off with too. So that's just going to deal double damage and finish them both off. 108, 90 damage. You can see it did quite a bit. Then we can just move ourselves back out of that, getting electrocuted. I'll just Misty Step over here, and yeah, we want to get in and do some weapon attacks if possible too. So we'll just have them fly in over difficult terrain. It's fine. They're flying. And we'll just wait for them to come out and cast Darkness. And yeah, they're going to do it without a doubt. Yep. There's the Darkness. And we'll stop them from doing that. They're going to run in. And then we want to try and apply water again on them. So they dropped Beckoning Darkness on our summon. That's fine. They're just going to run back there. So that's all good. What we can do is we can even go ahead here with the High Mile Strike if we want to. That does pretty good damage there, but I like the Healing Vapors anytime she does have a little bit of health now, but this will apply the vulnerability to the damage. We can spread the lightning water around too, so that's pretty fun in itself. And then we can use our Misty Step to get right up in the action, and we got electrocuted. That's fine. We'll drop something like, we got Booming Blade, Green Flame Blade. Just instead of using, like, I was going to go with Cone of Cold, we'll just go ahead with our attack here. Boom. Critical hit. Nice. And followed up with another attack. Critical miss, of course. And then if you had a bonus action, instead we use Misty Step, but you could go with the Duelist Enthusiasm there. And I guess we'll end our turn there. That was not super ideal, but we got a nice bit of damage in. So we can go ahead here with our little ice methods, and they can drop a Chromatic Orb there. It might hit us, but that's fine. 18 damage, create ice surface, perfect. They can fly in and around, and then drop another, I guess we'll go with another Chromatic Orb there, and boom, it took her out. Cool, 26 damage. So yeah, that's the benefits of having the Water Myrmidon alongside this, because yeah, we're a martial class, but we also have the ability to get double damage. So always take the double damage whenever possible. This just works really well for us. So I just want to cover this as it's a pretty fun class. And yeah, attack twice. Use your Booming Blade if you got it, or Green Flame Blade, and you'll be in for a good time. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, hit that subscribe button below. This mod was made by Grooki, and you can get it in the in-game mod manager. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.